familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Whether it's playing on a sports team or creating art, it's important to encourage your kids to explore their interests. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Let your child know you believe in their passions. It can contribute to your child's focus and improve the quality of their schoolwork, too. So show that budding scientist some encouragement by helping them with an experiment or play catch with your baseball enthusiast.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome in to the Ahman Green Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 12-year NFL veteran.
He's got some speed to go with strength.
Huskers and Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer.
Shovel pass to Green into Vikings territory. Finally brought down.
And University of Nebraska esports coach.
Green all by himself. 20, 10, touchdown. 98 yards and a Lambeau leap.
Here is your host, Ahman Green.
Welcome into the Ahman Green Show. I'm your host, Ahman Green, along with Harrison to my right here on the ones and twos. Man, how you doing, Harrison? How was your Thanksgiving weekend?
It was nice. We'll have to do a little more celebrating. Obviously, Black Friday football clocking in on Sunday. You get the not a super long break, but nonetheless, it was still great. I got to see some family and friends, of course. Always great to do. And I sat down, gained a few extra pounds, got ready for the winter.
Did.
And I mean, it's pretty great. How was your Thanksgiving? I know you were able to go home down in Houston.
Yeah, went down,
hang out there.
Yeah, first time, first Thanksgiving there went well. We had a few friends over, and this was quiet after that. Like Thursday, then Friday, watched the game, and then watch other college football and NFL. Whole Black Friday promotion they've been hyping up for NFL. But even the NFL games were like, after the first or second quarter, it's like, bleh.
Yeah, it was some ugly Thanksgiving games.
Beat downs going on. Like, those guys must have ate too much too, and didn't get digested fast enough or something.
I'm sure you were happy though. You see Packers.
Yep, Packers
come out, beat the Lions. I don't know anyone who picked that one on their ballot.
I definitely we do it on our show. I'm pretty sure we would not have picked that one, but it happened. But that's the season that they're going to have. I said it from the jump that between our seasons between the Packers and the Huskers going to be similar because it's kind of it's a rebuilding restart for the Packers, new quarterback and new coaching staff here. So having those up and down seasons is what both teams basically experienced, and as we saw with our Iowa game, went crazy back and forth. Looked like we were there. Defense stood up, and just mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make those mistakes regardless of the team's caliber in the Big Ten or any college football program for that matter. And you got to make sure you come in and keep your mistakes to a minimum, and then put your best display of play out there offensively, defensively, and special teams, because all of it counted in Friday's game, basically.
Yeah, it was it's just been brutal for these past few years. Is that 3 in a row now? We've lost to a field goal on Iowa.
I believe
obviously
so.
won one last year, but I think the 3 losses in a row have all been a walk-off field goal for Iowa. And, it's you give them credit, right? That's the game they play, and they win that way over and over and over again. We're not necessarily unique to lose to Iowa on a game-winning field goal. They do that to a lot of teams, but it's incredible how that game just kind of felt like it was gift wrapped to him at the end there. And I don't want to, beat down on Joe Purdy. I thought he played as good as he needed to towards the end there, and unfortunately, it just came down to one interception. Definitely not the first quarterback to do it this year. It's kind of been a problem throughout the locker room, just having that consistency. But yeah, I mean, it was a tough one. It just felt like the game swung at the very end in the worst way possible. And, that's Iowa. They give them credit. They found a way to get 10 wins with one of the worst offenses we've seen in a long time. I mean, they beat Nebraska and they still hit the under, which is incredible because the under was, I think it was 25 and a half.
Yeah, it was 22.5 or
no, it was higher than that. I think I want to say it was 24 and a half.
Or 24.
Because Rutgers and Iowa had it before, and then obviously Nebraska coming in there, unsure quarterback room situation.
Mm-hmm.
The under made sense for a lot of people, but for them to still hit it, it's just, it's incredible.
Hey.
But yeah, what are your just overall thoughts on the Iowa game? I'm sure we have a lot of people curious to know what your thoughts are. 402-464-5685. We want to get Ahman's Green opinion on the game. Feel free to shoot them in. We do have one right here. Can Adrian Martinez recruit? Okay, we'll save that one later. Talking about the transfer portal quarterbacks.
I'm like, wait a minute, that's an old name right there.
We'll have to sort through that. But nonetheless, you guys can still join the show. We'll read them as they come in. 402-464-5685. Ahman Green, what are your initial thoughts? Nebraska loses in another 10-13 game. Game-winning field goal. Iowa wins it 13-10.
Like I said, it was hard fought. Like offense came out, doing the best they can, and I say defense has been there pretty much.
Yeah.
Slowing the offense down. They gave up a few big plays, throughout the game. The one big run about the running back up the middle. He probably had a 33-yard run, 40-something or yard run. But, it was just that one, but nothing where it was he didn't get, they didn't score that drive or they didn't score. He didn't score on that run, tracked him down, keeping him from the end zone, and then held the offense for Iowa in bay for the most part. Just what we gave them as gifts, early Christmas gifts, basically. They get them to then finally finish out winning the Big Ten West. So a lot to grow on in that game from all the players, offensive side of the ball. Sam, I agree with what you said about Chuba. He's doing his best out there, and just unfortunate he just missed that one guy. If he doesn't miss him, he sees him and keeps the ball tucks it, he either gets sacked or he scrambles out of the pocket, which he's done for the last 3 weeks. He's been starting. So
he didn't. I will say this much: I think a lot of people are like, "Man, how'd you miss him?" It was a good defensive play call by Iowa because that was a D
lineman dropping in cover. A lot of people don't realize that.
It wasn't the linebacker.
At first, I thought it was a linebacker. Then when I saw when it finally flashed to his number, who was celebrating, I'm like, "Oh, that's a D lineman." So that can come in because you're not expecting that, but that's the NFL style of defense or coverage. They'll take the 3 technique or the 5 technique and just drop them by. And of course, as a QB, you won't acknowledge them because you're like, what's the D lineman doing 5 years off the ball?
Yeah.
Into my wide receiver route or my running back route.
And
you throw it not even realizing and then you're like, okay, they probably won't catch it, but
it was a great call though, right? Because Iowa knew it's like, okay, it's pretty obvious on Nebraska side. They're going to cover up the edges, knowing we're going to want to get out of bounds. So we're in our headset, we're thinking, okay, something over the middle should be wide open, or at least open enough to start getting us in the field goal range. Yep. They read that like a book, and that's why they snuck. I think it was the DN out there in the middle of that, and Purdy didn't read a pre-snap. Obviously, he kind of slid in there later, but yeah, it wasn't just throwing it straight to the linebacker that he saw before the snap. Like it was a good play call, and a little bit fortunate too, because if you have the other DN hop out in coverage, we might complete that and run for 20. So it was a little bit of luck on their part.
Exactly.
And also just a good play call, kind of getting that 50-50 on right guy drop back there. But yeah, it wasn't the linebacker. And people got to understand that.
Yeah, and good that that DN caught the rock.
It was a good catch by him. I mean, he had to get in the air for it. It wasn't like it was just right to his chest. It was a little high, but
no, he was an athlete, and he went and showed his ability. So, with that play there and just trying to, and then other plays early in the game, some conversions here and there, a few other turnovers, nothing. But like I said, overall, it's just a game that is we're right there.
Say it again.
Yeah, we're right there. So, but now what goes on is now the players and coaches and obviously fans got to sit here and sulk. And then as players, you got to really look at the game as a whole. Just look at it from a fan's point of view and like, what was the good stuff? What was the bad stuff? And I won't say a fan's point of view. I'd say from a point of view is like, now the game's over. Now let's break it down and let's be serious about this. Try not to be so emotional about it. Like either being hard on yourself, stuff like that. Everybody kind of look at it in a fair point of view, because then you can learn better from it. And I mentioned this earlier in other shows that when you're not looking at something where you're belittling yourself and putting yourself down, like, oh man, I suck, or that other team sucked, and we should have did this and that and the other. This is a learning experience. This is going to help me get better. And so coaches know that, but players need to know that. They're learning how to do that. I learned how to do that at this level. That's at the college level. When I got here, I learned how to actually have that constructive criticism for myself in a way where I got better, not in a way where I went backwards. And so that's what the players are going to learn about this whole season, not just this one game. The whole season went like this one game, right? Started off good, had some patches of good scoring points, keeping themselves in the game, but then it came down to a mistake. It came down to a fumble. It came down to an interception, and so that is where the learning can start, is knowing, okay, we don't want to because some of these seniors, some of these juniors, some of these sophomores have been in those games prior to this season. And what happened prior seasons is always something that they go and look back on and now look at it now and say, look, this happened again. Why? Because our focus wasn't there for some reason. And as a team, as a player, as a coaching staff, what have you, look at those and then, note it down, write it down. So then you have it, you can look on a piece of paper to remind yourself, all right, this game went like this, and try to make sure focus is a little bit tighter when we're in this situation again, which we most likely will be in 2024. And then that's how you then use those bad feelings, or I say those bad experiences, turn them around in good experiences in the next season, the next game to come, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's been the biggest challenge. Obviously, is just turning those, which is hard, right? That's an absolute gut punch. Think about the way the season started versus Minnesota. It's crazy, but it's the exact same way.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interception that leads to a game-winning field goal. You lose 10-13. You finish the season with an interception that leads to a game-winning field goal. It's tough to be on that other side over and over again. But that's why I did say in the pregame I was going to count the season as a success for Nebraska regardless. Again, to me, I just wish we had something tangible for even the players to acknowledge. It's like, here's some tangible evidence that we are on the right direction. Yeah. Because if you think about it, we just haven't been on this coach speak forever of the games kind of getting closer and closer. But just had to have some tangible evidence. I did see progress. Again, the fact that we have 5 wins at one point with all the injuries piling up, I might even thought 3 wins. It was just getting to that point. Like even the schedule was a little weaker with the Michigan State team in there. Maryland, they were on the way down. It's just like we were so beat up on the offensive line. We didn't have our weapons at wide receiver due to injury. Running back room's been just kind of a moving door due to fumbling issues, injuries. So I was still going to be impressed regardless, but there's definitely some things to fix. And especially in a gut punch fashion like that. What's the biggest gut punch game that you think you've played in where you take the loss, and how'd you bounce back from it? Because one had to hurt pretty bad.
I had them at all levels too. I mean, I could start back to Little League. But
I know what your Little League one is, where you scored 4 touchdowns and they all got called back.
Yeah, that was the flag football. That was year 1.
That might
year
be more
2.
angry.
That was year 2 of competitive sports for me. So I could have got scarred for life, but it just, like I said, it just built me up a certain way. I'll say here in Lincoln, it happened. It was my sophomore year. It was that first game of the season on the road in Arizona Stadium. Against the Sun Devil Stadium, and it was a punch gut because we literally offensively we did nothing right that night. I mean, we tried so hard to put the ball in the end zone. We created turnovers for ourselves, and game plan was a normal game plan that we usually went down with. Keep the ball for most of the game, run the ball this many times, no turnovers was always a goal. So same game plan that we always went into. It's just that game plan. And Arizona State's and their game plan, theirs was met with a lot more emotion. Not we didn't have emotion, I say, but the year before we put almost 100 points on them, and a lot of that was felt. Like a lot of that you could hear it in the stands. I remember the night before that game, we did our walkthrough on the stadium on the field, and then they had, I think, like the 80 something class on the field. It was doing like some alumni event. And even those guys, these guys were in their 40s and 50s, and they were trash talking. We gonna kick y'all, tomorrow. Y'all, and then I think somebody, last year, y'all thought last year y'all got it off easy. I'm like, we didn't play y'all. I mean, even the alumni felt it. So it's like, oh, this is gonna be an interesting game tomorrow. It's gonna be a hard hitting game, And so it was that. It was hard hitting. But I say it was more our debacling for ourselves where we just kind of imploded. But then after that, we went 12-0. We did what we needed to do to get back in the run for the national title. Ended up losing to big Texas in the Big 12 championship, the first one. That was actually the first year of it. So, but that was a time where we lost that game. I mean, I was distraught. I mean, I was crying and I was upset because I was like, man, now I'm a part of a team that just lost, and we haven't lost in so many years.
Yeah, and now you got to go perfect if you want a shot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, thank God it wasn't here at that time. Yeah. I don't know what I would have done. It would have been. I was already mad and upset that we lost on the road, and it was just a loss in general. But we didn't lose here either. But still, a loss is a loss, and it was like, man, we just. And I looked at the film, just like we just couldn't. They just had the right calls defensively to do our, when we're running our option, and most teams would adjust in a way that most likely helped us out in account of if we're going to the left side of the line or the right side of the line of scrimmage to attack either side. If they most likely will just where they'll take a guy out of an area. Then we had 5-on-4. We had a matchup problem for them. They had a problem because now we have extra players blocking or running to that left side, and it was always even. And they always had a hat for a hat, which was hard. And so they made that problem for us. But then, like I said, we had fumbles, and I think we almost had a safety. And then I had a big fumble. I was going into the end zone. I ran into one of the old linemen.
Oh, so you were really feeling the guilt.
Yeah, I'm running. All of a sudden, it was Zadiska. It was Rob.
Okay.
Or it was Rob or John. No, John. It was Rob. And I ran, and he popped up out of nowhere. I'm like juking a Wildcat or a Devil here and juking a Sun Devil there. And all of a sudden, I turn around, bam, Zadiska in the ball.
Right, sometimes that works. Did you catch Iowa running into his own offensive lineman, and it actually worked out for him because it threw the two Nebraska defenders off? So their angles were they were off because they weren't expecting you to bounce off.
Right. And I'm like, man, and the ball came out, so I was like, that's when I just said, you know what? And then when that happened, it was probably like third, maybe late the second quarter, going to halftime, or early third quarter. And when that play happened, I said to myself, I've been in a lot of competitions at that time, high school football, baseball, basketball, track. I said, you know what? This is just one of those games. I said, but I still got to play hard. Yeah. My dad was a coach. My brothers coached me up, and they said, sometimes you're going to just have that game, no matter how hard you try. It's not in the cards for y'all tonight. So you just got to play hard. If you do anything in a game like that, give it 100% still, because then you have one less thing to worry about or be mad about yourself. Like in a loss, if you didn't give it all you got, then you're also mad at, like me, I would be mad at myself for not playing hard. So at least I played hard in the loss, because then I know how I'm going to do when we got the chance to win, which obviously at that time we did have a lot of times to win the game. But from that one on, we rinsed and repeat. We rinsed it off. We watched the film. Going into that next week, I can't remember who we played that next week, but it wasn't good for them in the rest of that season for the 96 year. And in 97, we got back on that train where we were able to basically dominate the Big 12 and dominate any college football team that came around our slate. But it's those moments where, like, those games, they're like, you know what? I don't like the taste of this in the back of my mouth. This is not going to happen again.
Yeah.
Not on my watch. And so that's what these coaches got to do. It's a long road back. They got to wait. It's December and spring ball. You got that coming. So take this time to remember these moments, learn them, watch the film. And I think that's a big thing too. When you watch things that you could have did better, or this team didn't work out as a whole, when you watch it as a team, that's building accountability right there. Everybody make a mistake on some play. It's not all in one play. It's not all at the end of the game. It's not all it's all throughout the game. You see plays stack up. We hear these questions answered in post-game interviews, or asked in what was the one point in the game? Well, it wasn't just the game-winning shot. It was that play in the first quarter. It was this play in the second quarter, third, fourth, on that third down conversion. We didn't convert. So it's a accumulation of all that. And just that's your experience watching that film and then also playing the game makes it to where, like, okay, this is what I got to do next time.
Yeah.
Now we got to do this, not make sure we don't get in that situation again.
Yeah. And I will say this one thing about the Matt Rule team is that despite the loss, it's good for me to see the team just still, it seems like they're doubling down. They're not giving up on anything. They're still very optimistic about Matt Rule, and having the opportunity to talk to some of these athletes we had on Sunday, a couple of the guys from the football team, them talking about when Matt Rule took over and the amount of trust, how everything just felt different. They're organized. They have goals in sight, and they're still locked in. Obviously, it was a gut punch, but obviously the guys picking up Chubba Purdy at the end there.
Yeah, you got to do all that.
I'll tell you what, I got over being upset pretty quick after seeing Chubba Purdy, the pain he was going through. Like he took a moment just on the field, obviously hands over the face. That's twice it's happened to him now on the game-winning drive. I'll always say this, like, the players want to win that 10 times more than the fans do.
100%.
Like, that is a brutal loss for them losing to Iowa. The idea of handing that Heroes Trophy away again, like, they hate that, I'm sure, any more than any fan listening.
Yeah, it's competition.
100%.
And he's going to, in that moment, he's going to remember that moment.
Oh, 100%.
when any
His
game
brother
that-
was never able to beat Iowa either.
Right.
That's another thing that's got to drive him crazy. I think
Right.
his
And
brother
that's
went
a-
0-3 versus Iowa.
Yeah, and that's the in-state rivalry for
Mhm.
them. Obviously, we're state to state. We're border battle, as they call it. But yeah, that's those moments is what I've had. Those moments. I remember. I say go back to my high school, my sophomore year at Omaha North. We didn't have a great team my sophomore year,
Mhm.
but we played hard. And I remember I had a game, and what was important about the game was it was homecoming, and a lot of my friends on that team I played football with, and I ran track with. They were seniors. So as a sophomore, I was like, you know what? It'd be nice to get them a win for their senior year homecoming game.
Yeah.
And we didn't. We lost. I was so distraught. Same feeling I had in that ASU loss down in Tempe.
Was it close, like down to the wire?
Yeah, it was that. No, it was. I can't remember. You know, I'll be honest. I can't remember the score.
Okay.
But it was. I know Gross. We played Gross at that time.
Felt
And
awful at the end.
It just
either
felt,
way.
regardless of the scoreboard, felt awful
Mhm.
because I'm like, dang, these guys. This is their senior year. This is the last time they get to be on the field to try to get a win on their homecoming day, and I felt I was part of that. You know, not doing my part.
Mhm.
And so that stuck with me for a couple games there. And then even the senior, Lionel McFall, shout out to Lionel. He was a senior. He was a track star as well. Wide receiver for us. When he got the ball, it was like Rocket Ishmael. Nobody was going to catch it. No, or Tyreek Hill today. Nobody was going to catch it. Because I say Rocket Ishmael, a lot of kids don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, there'd be a few Google searches
Like,
going on, I'm sure.
Rocket Ishmael, Rahib, Rocket, yeah. So, but Tyreek Hill, I'll say that.
I
Tyreek
mean,
Hill.
to
with
be
the
fair,
ball.
it's in his name. So.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill or Lionel McFall, he got the rock on a couple reverses we did during that season.
Mhm.
It was nobody catching him, so it was like him and Marvin Starks. I was like, these guys, Clinton Childs. Oh no, Clinton was gone.
Okay.
Sorry, Clinton was gone. I was a freshman when he was a senior. He was gone. But there was a few other guys that were seniors, and I'm like, man, it'd be nice to get them out of here with a victory, and they didn't. But they was like, hey, G, man, we're okay. We still got track. We had track. We had a hell of a track season that next year. Going into the spring,
Right.
we ended up going to state. I was the sophomore, the young buck on that state team that won state in the 4x1 relay, and I was the anchor.
So you got the gold for him.
Yeah,
at the end there.
And what was important about that whole moment in terms of the football to all the way to track. Like I said, I had to wait from football season to track season, going through school, practicing, and then track practice started, not knowing that a moment like that was going to happen again.
Mhm.
I didn't know that I was going to end up being the anchor. I didn't know that I'm going to be in a situation where I'm being held accountable to get that baton and roll out. And the seniors are dependent on me. Like they was okay with me being the anchor. So that means they had belief in me on the football field then. So that belief never wavered. When Coach Ball, who was our track coach at that time, Jay Ball, shout out to him.
He must have been kind of a legend, not to get too off topic.
Yeah.
But man, there's quite a few track rosters that came through that are just absolutely
we had sprinters.
Easy way to say it.
Easy way to say it. Sprinters, fast people, men and boys and girls, young men and young women that could roll out at Omaha North. And then when I transferred to Central, very, very good track squads at Central as well. But it just, for me as a young athlete, a sophomore, I'm 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, and they trust you.
And these are guys that are about to go off to college, they already driving cars and all that. But what was important at that moment, they knew, and because they've been coached the same way I was coached. No matter who's on your team, you support them. And they was like, AG, we got you. Get that baton, and we're gonna give you a lead. That's what I remember Lionel saying that, Marvin saying that, Cliff Maggette saying, hey, don't worry about the lead, we got you. And they did. When I got that baton, I could have tripped and fall, stumbled, took my time getting up, and still won a one.
So I might even be able to win the race there.
Yeah.
That's how much room you had.
Yeah. I haven't seen you run. I would give you more credit than what you give yourself. But yeah, they gave me a lead. And so I just had to go get it. And so and then a couple years later, I returned it. I returned the favor to a freshman by the name of Kyle Thomas. Or he was a sophomore. Was he a freshman? He was a freshman or sophomore, I'll say that. And I was a senior. It was 1990. It was 1995 spring. And the same thing happened at state, where we had a couple guys go out because of hamstrings and quads, strains. And he was worried about in districts. Like it happened before state. Like we already qualified for state, but for city, that's when guys got hurt. And in districts, he was all worried. And I'm like, Kyle, only thing I want you to think about is how fast you're going to run when I give you the baton. That's it. That's it. Don't do nothing else. So he had to run anchor at districts, and then we flipped it around. I ran anchor at state, and then he had to hand it to me. No, that's what it was. He was handing it to me both times.
Okay.
I forgot. I had it switched around in my head. So I was like, Kyle, just get it to my hand. After you get it to me, don't worry about nothing else. I'll take care of it from there. And then boom, both districts and state, we got state. But it was like that player to player support was another thing that will filter back for these moments for these players here in Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chuba, the teammates, patting them on the back, all that in the locker room, whatever was said that we don't know, but all positivity, same thing. It's going to grow into that next season. So whoever's that first team on the regular season game, I know the way I was built, that first team on that schedule for 2024 season, they about to get that smoke. That's what I would say to all my team. Like if I'm in the locker room right now as a coach, I'm like, who we got I'll be like, Coach Rule, who we got on the first regular season game for the big or for the regular, just the first team, not the Big Ten opening,
just the season opener.
Season opener. Who we got? They'll be like, oh, we got Ole Miss or somebody. Just putting the name out there. Hey, Ole Miss about to get that smoke because right now, this feeling right here with y'all, this is the feeling this is the change. This is what it feels like. And so, because I've had those games where I'm like, man, I can't. And I was at Arizona State game for me. I said next week, woo. I can't remember who we played the week after we lost to ASU, but I know.
Put the smoke on.
We gave him the business. We gave him the business. So
yeah, definitely don't got to doubt that era about you guys responding well. And I will say this again. I'm optimistic about the future for Nebraska football. I think they will carry this feeling. You kind of saw that with Nebraska basketball. Yep. They played really well towards the end there. They roll into this year. They're going to be undefeated heading into Creighton. So you can kind of feel that roll off happening right there. But again, we'll throw it to break here. Ahman Green Show. I'm Harrison on the ones and twos. Host as always, Ahman Green in studio with me. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Hurry into Graham Tire Company and take advantage of Black Friday deals going on now. Save $100 instantly with the purchase of 4 Goodyear tires. Get up to $200 additional by mail on select Goodyear tires. Instant rebates on Kumho, Hankook, and Nokian tires too. The Black Friday sale is the last big tire sale of the year. Don't let these deals get away. Stop in today or shop online at GrahamTireLincoln.com. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brandt.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through November 28th is spend $75 and get a 3-pound prepackaged chuck roast for free. Limit 3 per visit while supplies last. Also, through the 28th, get 20% off all spices. Don't forget there are 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all-natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Whether it's playing on a sports team or creating art, it's important to encourage your kids to explore their interests. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Let your child know you believe in their passions. It can contribute to your child's focus and improve the quality of their schoolwork, too. So show that budding scientist some encouragement by helping them with an experiment or play catch with your baseball enthusiast.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Ahman Green Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back in the building here. Man, Harrison talking some Nebraska football, a little bit of basketball going on.
Yeah, I'm excited. Are you impressed by Nebraska basketball this year? There was a little higher expectations coming into it, but I understand the schedule is a little easier compared to years past, but still to be undefeated at this point and be winning most games with pretty comfortable margins. Are you surprised by the success that they're experiencing right now?
No, I saw the last half. I came in last spring. Right in January, so about mid-season.
So about after all the injuries were going down.
And I saw some good play going on. You know, probably wasn't a whole lot of wins, but you could tell. I said when you play enough, when you've been in enough competition, you know when you have a good team. It's just so many people, like weapons, are not there.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that.
Yeah, it was a big part. They're winning games due to defense, and when they're coming up short, they were, like you said, they just needed that one extra score. You know, if Gary could get help, if really just any of those other guys, because they were deep on the bench, and you give credit to them for finishing out the season the way they did. Obviously, the Big Ten tournament hasn't been great for Nebraska in years past. Seems we kind of lose round 1, round 2.
Yeah, it's rough.
But
you got
it's still progress. Yeah, absolutely.
And you got, as they say, what is it? That's the word, the phrase, the Blue Bloods. You got you got a blue blood, if not 2.
Yeah, I mean, you throw
in this conference.
Yeah, you definitely throw Indiana up there, and then Michigan State. Tom Izzo, you just never want to second guess them.
Yeah, you don't want to second guess.
Only one championship, but there's good year in year out.
Even you want to throw in there Purdue too.
Yeah, damn man, can't even forget about the second and only other undefeated team in the Big Ten right now.
Right, they put out people, and so in terms of what I experienced being here, college student back in the mid '90s with good players. I mean, Strict was here, Teron Lou, Mikey Moore, Cookie Belcher.
You guys could have had an awesome baseball team. Just saying.
True.
But the more I hear about all you guys, like the second passion for a lot of you guys was a baseball team. I'm like, man, we could have had like one of the most elite baseball.
We would have won a
coming
championship.
Out of Nebraska.
We would have had a championship for sure. I had played baseball like 5 years, 6 years as a kid. And I say 6 for sure because I played a couple years when I moved back here.
Mhm.
And out of 6 years, I had 4 World Series championships victories.
That's incredible.
So I knew how to be a team player.
What'd you play again?
I played outfield.
Outfield? That makes sense.
Right.
Cover ground.
Left, yep, cover ground, left, right, center. I tried to get my coach to put me on first base, but he's like, Ahman, you too fast. I can't.
I'm not going to waste it.
I need you out in the outfield. But I said, but I'm lefty. You know, my thing was I didn't want to run a whole lot.
That's true. You are a lefty. That would be the only argument.
I got the right hand catch, so I got the, it works. He said, you're too fast for that, though. We need you out there out left, right, center. I'm like, all right. I ended up hovering, staying in center field. That was like my favorite because I was like the quarterback of the outfield, can adjust the left field to me and right field to me. Hey, you come over here, I'm gonna move over, tell them where to go.
Now you leave first base to the lanky guys like me that sit there and just use our long arms, and that's why we're there.
Long arms too.
Yeah, that's true. You probably, but nonetheless, we got a couple from the text line here.
What's up?
On
What's
the
up,
first
Jack?
segment, referring to our first segment talking Husker football, Thunder Not Collins. He says, "Man, AG has me ready for the 2024 season already." That's not uncommon about Husker fans.
Yeah,
we it ends, and a week later, we're like, all right, we're ready to go again. Our feelings are back together. Let's go.
Yeah, lick your wounds. You look at, like I said, look at your mistakes on the film, which these guys did. Coaches too. They're going to break down all this film from the last 3-4 games, the whole season. That's what college coaches, that's what NFL coaches do. That's what good coaches do. And then they'll bring up these situations. Oh, remember that game? We're in this situation. Now we're going to do this in spring ball practice. We'll do situational football for a whole drill. And I did that here. I did that in the NFL level. And then you get comfortable in those situations where the panic comes in because you don't know what to do next. So now there's no panic because you remember that situation. Okay, this is what I did do the first time. That didn't work out. So now we're here again. And even though it's practice situation, you got to put your head there. And I think that's another little tidbit that I would teach to young players everywhere in competition. So talking about football, baseball, basketball, talking about Overwatch, League of Legends, Call of Duty. Find that when you get in that, when you're practicing, put your mind in that situation of what you're actually practicing for. So if you're practicing to know how to win a search and destroy map, or you practicing to know how to convert on a 4th and 10, or you're trying to hit the game buzzer shot in basketball, but you don't want to shoot it from half court. You want to get it into the paint because that's where your big man is at. Play out those situations because then you get used to those situations. So then it's not a foreign ground because you now have experience. You could chalk up 3-4 times in practice that you practiced it and you rehearsed it basically. And so now in real life, when it does happen in real time, you're like, oh, okay, we did this already.
Yeah, seen it,
done it. All right, now this is what we got to do, execute. And then there's no mistakes. That's when in those situations, that for any team, not just our team here in Lincoln, basketball, football, baseball, any team across the sports spectrum, competition-wise, then you understand, all right, this is what I got to do. Because if the coaches are putting us in a situation in the practice scenario, and it's not actually a practice thing, it's actually real stuff. So you put your mind there too, then it'll make it a lot easier and transition over into the real action when it does happen in your face, because it will.
Yeah,
you practice those situations to happen, and they happen.
Yeah, and again, I hate to keep doing it, but that's why you got to give Iowa some credit there because every single time they're in those one-score situations, you don't see them speed up or change their rhythm at all. It's like we've been here, we know what to do. Unfortunately, last game I think they would have liked to attack a little differently, but that turnover really just helped them. But even then, that's a team where if they're down by 1 score and there's 5 minutes left, they don't care. They'll punt the ball.
Yeah.
Like they'll trust their defense to get the ball back within 5 minutes and then try it again. Like they don't ever stress from their game plan going out with it. One more from the text line before we go to break here. OG Les Lancaster says all other athletes want to be baseball players and all baseball players want to be golfers. Is that true? Is that what you got in the NFL? Do you have a lot of guys that want to be baseball players?
Not want to be. So a lot of them were. They just converted basically. Like me, I was a convert. I played baseball up until high school. And didn't get opportunity to play here, but it was other guys that I knew around the horn, guys that I ran into contact with here in Lincoln. Can't remember everybody other than Strick. Maybe a few guys. I know when I got to Seattle.
Was Cluster Johnson a baseball player?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he was all around athlete. Track too. I was everything: football, baseball, track. I mean, I would have did soccer if I had the opportunity. If it was really like introduced to me like football was.
Yeah.
I would have did soccer. I watch it now and I love it. I'm like, I see the draw to it, as a fan to watch it, one. And then I see why the athletes play it, because you gotta really, master something that's rare. I mean, us throwing a football, to me, I look at it like, okay, compared to kicking a ball and controlling the spin of it with your foot, that's different from your hand. That's, to me, because you don't touch the ball like with your toes. Like, you don't see somebody throw a football with your foot like we do with our hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you saw that'd be the craziest thing. And they'd be like, oh, he took off his shoe. He's throwing the ball with his foot? No, but he can still control it when they kick it, right? And it's like amazing to know that you could spin it a certain way if you kick it one way, left or right. And from Messi to Ronaldo, to Pele back in the day. It's
to Eleanor Dale for Nebraska soccer.
Exactly,
they lost that
I got her in
day,
class,
unfortunately. But yeah, baller's an understatement.
I got her in one of my classes. Great. And when I watched the highlights, I was like, awesome. I was like, I teach her class. I teach her in my
little
class.
Starstruck there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm her teacher. Good job, Eleanor. Shout out to Eleanor and the soccer squad.
Yeah, it was a great. We have obviously on and off the pitch with Sammy and Sarah, both from the soccer team. But I definitely want to give them their credit, because that's one event I feel bad that I have to go to. I have yet to go to a soccer game.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the one I've missed. And this year was an awesome year, but unfortunately, I felt like a lot of the games were always happening when I had to clock in for shift. But nonetheless, it was cool. They got to the Elite Eight. Awesome season. And obviously we got volleyball. They got the 1 seed. That was kind of a given. It was more, how's Wisconsin going to decide? Which side of the bracket are they going to be on? Outside looking in, it's obviously gets the madness when you get to the bracket, but it looks favorable. And obviously Nebraska basketball doing well. There's still a lot of good things in Husker athletics going on right now that we continue to watch as we kind of wrap up this fall, heading into the winter season. But we got one more segment here on the Ahman Green Show. I'm Harrison. Ahman Green, host as always, in studio with me. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com. Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through November 28th is spend $75 and get a 3-pound prepackaged chuck roast for free. Limit 3 per visit while supplies last. Also, through the 28th, get 20% off all spices. Don't forget there are 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
And don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha. When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Hurry into Graham Tire Company and take advantage of Black Friday deals going on now. Save $100 instantly with the purchase of 4 Goodyear tires. Get up to $200 additional by mail on select Goodyear tires. Instant rebates on Kumho, Hankook, and Nokian tires too. The Black Friday sale is the last big tire sale of the year. Don't let these deals get away. Stop in today or shop online at GrahamTireLincoln.com. Graham Tire, getting you to the places that matter most.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all-natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. When you purchase a $50 gift card, you receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, The Butchery, The Bakery, and all Lincoln Good Sense Deli Fresh Subs locations. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known, but what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Ahman Green Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Ahman Green Show. If you want to get your final thoughts in here, 402-464-5685 is the Sartor Heyman text line. To kind of wrap things up here, Ahman, what do we have ahead here for esports? I know with Thanksgiving going on, people got some time off, got to relax a little bit. But I'm curious to see how the esports world is going for Nebraska as they continue to, honestly, it's a pretty new era here.
Yeah.
Right, Nebraska. How long has that been going on? You've had the Plug Club program for a while now, but
2018.
2018. It's only 5 years into the actual program itself.
Yep.
Obviously, we've talked about before, you guys have a pretty good Super Smash team.
Yep.
Some of the other first-person shooters trying to get back at. And then Rocket League is just a crazy competitive sport in the esports world. I was watching a high school. It came up on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It was a high school gym, and they were just playing Rocket League, and they had a pep rally.
I saw that one.
It was insane.
It was serious. Somebody texted to me.
It was incredible.
It's like, Ahman, check this out. It was a high school game. I'm not sure what state or if it was here, but they were hyped.
It was packed.
Standing
house. Room only in the
and
bleachers.
I'm like, yes. I'm like, hopefully one day we could get that everywhere and people could really take esports serious. But no, I'll say some good stuff about us. Myself, Sherry Vell has been on the hunt for sponsors. So we've been having meetings with companies around here in Lincoln, and we had another meeting. So we're in our third meeting in 3 weeks. So we're knocking them down. So now we're just waiting to hear back from them, and a lot of good stuff in the conversation. We're telling them we're giving them our pitch of what we're trying to do in the student union, build that out so then the students, not just our club and not just our varsity and JV students, but all the students of campus can experience the esports facility because they'll be in the union right in the center of campus where everybody can come in, walk through, and have some time playing some video games. But then for our players, they get to have, and myself and Ryan Tan and Alan Eno, we all can experience, having meetings, breaking down film, going over what we're talking about for all the other sports that are competing here on campus, helping their players get better and understand how practicing in a facility changes from when you're in your dorm room and in your apartment is a completely different world. And giving them that experience, but telling the potential sponsors, hey, this is what we're looking to do. This is other things we're doing outside of just playing in the facility. We're looking to have curriculum, have classes, have corporate events to introduce esports to everybody here on campus and in Lincoln and in the state of Nebraska and then all around, because we're looking to do stuff like the Nebraska high school winter, fall, spring championship here in campus. It rotates right now between all the sponsors, and the sponsors are like Concordia, Dome, Wayne State. That's where the last one was for fall. And winter is another place. So it rotates between all the colleges here to support the cause. That's where I started recruiting this past week or a couple of weeks ago, finding out where the players are for, certain teams. Gretna has some really good players. West Side, that's where one of our players, Shromo, was at. He graduated and he won they won state in Overwatch 2 last year, being at West Side. West Side is that school right now. It's putting out, no matter who is going from football, baseball, basketball, and now esports, they're putting out players, and they have a couple players that are already on my radar.
Man, you're telling me West Side's got a hold on the esports world too?
Yes, they do.
Man,
they doing something
better.
There's something in the water in West Omaha right now. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they're putting out really good esports players. I met a few of them at state a few weeks ago, and so we're doing some. Like I said, it's moving and grooving. It's taking a little inch by inch, and eventually we're gonna hit that point to where we're really gonna explode. The industry is already exploding.
Oh yeah,
I say, but here in Nebraska, one of my faculty members, Jamie, that works in IT, is like, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, huh? And I'm like, yeah, we're a little bit. I said, but once we get that facility, we're gonna catch up to everybody and eventually past everybody, because between my ideas, Ryan Tan, Alan Eno, the things that we've talked about among each other as faculty members, I'm like, oh man, we could do this when we have the facility, we could do that. Alex Fernando, another one, he works in our J school. He's works with recruiting and other students and we talked about doing things that kids, the experience, production beyond the competition of gaming and all that.
Absolutely. You got the right people in place, and we're excited to see where it goes. Yep. Don't Punt Hour up next.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k,